Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
A little bit of light patchy rain lingering this morning. We'll show you how it will affect your travels in this morning. Plus, we're looking at a WRAL weather alert day for Saturday. I'll explain. A driver crashes his car after leading law enforcement on an early morning chase. What deputies say happened just before this car overturned.
And President Biden will deliver his State of the Union address tonight in Washington, D.C. We'll introduce you to the North Carolina guests who will be attending that speech.
The city of Durham is trying to make sure all 911 calls are answered promptly. The new partnership being considered that could have calls redirected to another city. It is 6 o'clock. Happy Thursday, everybody. This is your direct line to news and information. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Ken Smith in for Jeff Hogan. And with that direct line in mind, let's figure out what the weather's going to be like today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking it all for us.
It is cloudy and damp this morning. We're still dealing with some lingering moisture from yesterday's system. It's very patchy and light, but a lot of us are going to run into some wet conditions as you head out the door this morning. From Sanford to Lillington to Smithfield to Rollsville, all the way up through Henderson. So it's a good chunk of the viewing area. And we still have a lot of wet streets out there. The system that brought us all the rain yesterday is moving away, but there's just a little bit of lingering moisture wrapping around it, lingering across the area just for a little while this morning. Once we get past, say, 7 or 8 o'clock, that should be the end of it, and gradually we'll see some clearing. After lunchtime, we should see some breaks in the clouds, and that will allow our temperatures to climb up to around 70. Should be a pretty pleasant afternoon for us. But new this morning at around 4:30 a.m., the Storm Prediction Center put us under a level 1 and level 2 risk for severe storms for Saturday. You know, we've been talking about Saturday all week, and now it looks like we'd have the potential for some isolated tornadoes down to the south in our level 2 area, which would include Fayetteville and Southern Pines. Elsewhere in that level 1, the greater chance would be of some wind damage. Let's take a look at Futurecast for Saturday. We're going to start late Friday, and you can see overnight the rain starts to move in. The first half of the day, Saturday, the rain will be steady to heavy. It's not likely to be until closer to lunchtime that we start to see this line developing right here, and that's going to bring us our best chance of severe storms. That would happen around lunchtime into the afternoon. Right now, you're headed out the door and streets are wet. We take a live look at Fayetteville Street from the Jimmy V camera. It's wet out there, 56 degrees is the temperature in the triangle. And of course, we have the tower lit in purple for cloudy skies and a little drizzle this morning. But looking at the potential for some sunshine breaking out this afternoon after lunchtime, that should allow our temperatures to climb up to around 70. Likely to have some heavy rain with that system on Saturday. I'll show you how much we could see coming up, Brian.
Elizabeth here at 6:02. We are tracking 3 crashes, creating some delays this morning in parts of the triangle. Starting off in Orange County with a crash on 85 northbound, right there at the I-40 split as you head away from the Eflin community out toward Hillsborough. We know that 2 right lanes are blocked right now, and we are seeing a little bit of a backup right there around the split. Not seeing enough of a delay at this point to consider an alternate route, but I'll watch that, let you know if that changes. Still have this crash reported at MLK and Blunt Street on the south side of downtown Raleigh. I'm seeing some delays building now on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, and we're just getting reports of a crash on Atlantic Avenue on the southbound side, just north of the 440 interchange.
Brian, thanks. Breaking news. 5 people are in police custody after leading law enforcement on a chase this morning. Nick Perlin is in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker in Wake Forest, where that chase happened.
I'm here at the Wake Forest Police Department, just 1 mile away from where police say that chase ended. Now take a look at this map. This will give you a better outline of what happened. Police tell me there was a shooting on North Allen Street, and at some point when police arrived on scene, a group of people in a car drove off. Police chased them for about 2 miles and ended up at Carol Joyner Park, where they then arrested 5 people. Police tell me nobody was shot. In Wake Forest, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
And more breaking news. A driver is in the hospital and will be facing charges after leading law enforcement on a chase in Moore County that ended in a crash. That crash happened on Boys Camp Road near Cameron at about 12:45 this morning. The sheriff's office says the driver took off and deputies tried to pull that person over and a chase started. The crash happened a short time later and the car overturned, as you see there. The driver was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Today, the Durham City Council will consider a new way to make sure all 911 calls are answered. Right now, Durham has an informal emergency backup relationship with the Raleigh-Wake Emergency Communication Center. Calls that go unanswered to Durham Emergency Communications would go to Wake County. And Durham now wants to switch to a formal partnership with Fayetteville. The City Council agenda cites shared infrastructure, technological similarities, and a similar size and capacity as reasons for the switch. Council members will discuss the potential change at today's work session.
A review hearing is scheduled today for the teenager accused in Raleigh's Hedingham mass shooting. Judge Paul Ridgway will check in with the legal representation for the accused shooter, Austin Thompson, as well as the state's legal party to determine a timeline for the case moving forward. In January, new evidence, including police body camera video from Thompson's capture, was released. District Attorney Lauren Freeman tells WRAL this case has a massive amount of evidence to work through.
Tonight, President Joe Biden will deliver his State of the Union address at the U.S. Capitol, where you're looking live. According to White House aides, this year's address aims to lay out an agenda that Biden can quickly take out onto the campaign trail. Some of those topics include protecting the Affordable Care Act and expanding efforts to relieve student debt and the cost of housing. The president is also expected to call on both Democrats and Republicans to take action on issues they should be able to agree on, such as tackling the fentanyl crisis and increasing assistance for veterans. And
Renee, some North Carolina guests will be at the Capitol building for tonight's State of the Union address. WRL's Kelsey Coffey live in downtown Raleigh. And Kelsey, our senators and a congressman have invited some special people to join them. Tell us about these special guests.
Ken, North Carolina will be on the national stage tonight at the State of the Union address. The family of this Chapel Hill man, Keith Siegel, will be there tonight. Keith and his wife, Aviva, were taken by Hamas during the October 7th attack. Aviva was released, but Keith is still being held hostage. Keith's sister and niece are representing the family tonight. They'll be Senators Ted Budd and Tom Tillis's guests. Both senators say they are working to bring Keith home safely. And Representative Don Davis from North Carolina will also be bringing this special guest tonight. That's 109-year-old Cassie Smith. You heard that right, 109 years old. Davis says she voted on the first day of early voting and is a living symbol for our democracy. Miss Smith lives in Battleboro. You can watch the State of the Union address right here on WRAL and Fox 50 tonight at 9. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, CNN is projecting that President Joe Biden will win the Hawaii Democratic caucuses. There were 22 pledged delegates up for grabs. Biden easily bested 4 other candidates. We do know entrepreneur Jason Palmer won the American Samoa caucuses, but Republicans in Hawaii are scheduled to hold their caucus on Tuesday. Happening now, a road in Wendell is closed as crews are working to fix sewer lines. Raleigh Water says the work that's happening on Old Zebulon Road is expected to continue through 7 this morning as we look live there at Old Zebulon Road. They've been working there all night. A detour is posted for drivers.
Police in Philadelphia are working to make arrests after 8 teenagers were hurt in a shooting near a bus stop. Well, this surveillance video shows the scene Wednesday afternoon. It shows 3 people getting out of a car before opening fire on a group of high schoolers. Then you see those suspected shooters jumping back in the car and then speeding away. One of the teens who was hurt is said to be in critical condition. Philadelphia transit officials say one of their buses was also hit by bullets.
Today, the group that runs PNC Arena will share another update on plans to upgrade the arena. The Centennial Authority Board meets this morning at 10. The main goal of today's meeting is to approve a new design firm for the project. Last week, the board interviewed 3 firms and chose Gensler and local partner LS3P. This comes after the board cut ties with its previous architect in January. This is all part of a $300 million project for the arena and the surrounding area.
The ACC Women's Basketball Tournament is underway, and 2 teams from the Triangle will be hitting the court today. UNC will take on Miami at 1:30 this afternoon at the Greensboro Coliseum. After that, the game at 5 will feature Duke and Georgia Tech. NC State will play the winner of that game in the quarterfinals tomorrow.
You may soon be able to check yourself through security at the airport. The new technology TSA is rolling out that would make it a self-serve experience.
And people in one Raleigh neighborhood are concerned about their safety. There calls for police to do something after another incident of shots fired outside their doors.
And a little bit of light patchy rain to start with this morning, then some sunshine. It'll be dry Friday, but Saturday, we now have a WRAL weather alert day for the potential for severe storms. I'll walk you through the timeline.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
612, taking a look at satellite and radar. The system that brought us the rain yesterday has some moisture wrapping around it for a few isolated showers this morning. That will not last long. You can see just a little bit of patchy rain continuing from the Triangle area, mainly south and east, along and east of I-95 at this point. But the streets are wet out there. Brian will walk you through any issues that may cause for us this morning. Again, just a little bit of patchy light rain showing up on dual Doppler 5000 radar. That tapers off really quickly, and we'll see some breaks in the clouds this afternoon. We should end up with a little sunshine after lunchtime. Taking a look at Apex, you can see the street is wet. We're seeing that in many places. If your kids are headed out the door to the bus stop, it's so light they may not need a raincoat or an umbrella. And we should see a few peaks of sunshine this afternoon as they get off the bus with temperatures near 70. Brian?
Elizabeth, 613 right now. We are seeing some wet roads out there. You need to slow down as you head out this morning. I'm tracking a few crashes. Still waiting to get this one cleared in the Hillsborough area on 85 northbound, right there at the I-40 split. The past couple of minutes, looking at those sensor readings, it looks like things may be improving just a little bit. But at last check, two right lanes still were closed there at 85, right there at I-40. Just allow a little extra time, and remember to scoot over and slow down as you head around any of those emergency vehicles responding to that crash. Still have that crash reported at MLK and Blunt Street on the south side of downtown Raleigh, but it looks like that one is well in the clearing stages at this point, Ken.
Brian, thanks. Well, people in one Raleigh neighborhood are worried about their safety after hearing gunshots right outside their front doors. Yeah, that surveillance camera video from the Walnut Trace community captured at least 9 gunshots being fired Tuesday night. The neighborhood is just off Rock Quarry Road near a food line and other businesses. At least 2 buildings were hit by bullets. Neighbors say they're worried that someone who lives there or shops nearby could get hurt.
We hope that people who know anything will step up, because it's not going to stop. It's going to be a continuous thing. Nobody's going to feel safe.
Well, we're, of course, working to learn why that shooting happened.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center. Staying on top of that news out of Robeson County. Sheriff's Office there investigating a shooting of a 17-year-old. The 17-year-old died. He was from Purnell Sweat High School on Tuesday. They say just before 11 o'clock, they responded to Downey Road in Roland in reference to an individual shot. That's when they found 17-year-old Caden Strickland of Pembroke. I did map Roland and Downey Road. You can see here it's just off of 95 near the North Carolina-South Carolina border. Police are saying the case is under investigation. They are not offering any information on any suspects, how many people might have been involved in this. All we know right now is a 17-year-old Caden Strickland of Pembroke has died in the shooting. We'll continue to stay on top of this for you.
We're used to self-checkout at grocery stores, but soon similar technology may help you get through airport security on your own. TSA launched a new self-service security checkpoint at the Las Vegas airport yesterday. It has a screen with do-it-yourself instructions for how to get yourself and your bags through pre-flight screening. It's only available for TSA pre-check customers. TSA hopes to launch the program at more airports across the country soon.
In just 4 days, mobile phones in North Carolina will turn into mini sports betting windows. But before you bet, understand there's a science of how it all works.
They're remarkable at setting lines.
Tonight at 6 on WRAL. WRAL investigates how sports betting works before you get into the game. We'll be looking at the best time to play, which sports gives you the best chance of winning, and why, in the end, the house always wins. The science of sports betting, tonight at 6.
Coming up on Today, meet the first American woman to race around the world solo.
Cole Brower spent 130 days at sea competing in the Global Solo Challenge. Now she's back on land and talking about her experience with NBC News' Emily Aketa.
You wear so many hats on this journey.
Solo sailors, you have to be able to do everything. You need to be able to take care of yourself, and you need to be able to get up even when you're so exhausted, and you have to be able to fix everything on the boat.
This morning on Today, the difficulties she faced during her 4-month journey and why she took up this huge challenge in the first place. Today airs at 7 right here on WRAL.
Wow. Well, people in Georgia are bracing for more rain after severe weather this week caused flooding and storm damage. This is a video near Atlanta where rising waters submerged vehicles and other cars were damaged by fallen trees. The next wave of heavy rain is expected to move in late today. We can share in that as well. We're expecting some rain this weekend. Let's go over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Severe Weather Center, with a timeline of this wet weather.
Yeah, let's talk about what we're going to end up seeing on Saturday. We should be fairly dry this afternoon and tomorrow, but Saturday is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. New this morning, the Storm Prediction Center put us under a level 1 and level 2 risk, which of course is what created the WRAL Weather Alert Day. Expect rain all day Saturday, and it may be severe in the afternoon. Expect heavy rain, some strong, possibly damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes. The best chance of those isolated tornadoes would be down in the level 2 area. That's going to include Fayetteville, Southern Pines, Rayford. The remainder of the viewing area under a level 1 risk. Again, damaging winds and heavy rain possible really anywhere on Saturday, especially in the afternoon. Well, let's talk about what's happening right now. The system that brought us all the rain yesterday is gradually pulling away, but wrapping some moisture around it. Saturday's system is taking shape back here across parts of the Midwest and the Deep South. We'll watch that move ahead in time. That low moves eastward. We'll see a warm front followed by a cold front, and that's going to put us in the warm sector during the afternoon. This is the time and the place where the best chance of severe storms would be right after lunchtime into, say, the latter part of the afternoon. And then it looks like we'll clear out for Sunday. Let's go in a little more detail, and you can see a little closer timeline here. Definitely seeing rain overnight after midnight Friday up through 6, 7 o'clock. After that, it starts to really become quite heavy at 8 o'clock. Looking at those yellow and orange color contours, that's where the rain is heavy. And then closer to lunchtime is when we start to see a bit of a line forming up as the cold front starts to move in. That's where we'd have the best chance of any severe storms. Let's take a look at what's happening outside right now. Again, just that lingering moisture from yesterday's system, bringing wet streets in Chapel Hill, as well as Apex and Goldsboro, and it's wet on the sidewalk there in front of our newsroom in Fayetteville. Dual Doppler 5000 radar just showing a tiny bit of light rain, scattered showers across the viewing area from Raleigh north and eastward up toward Roanoke Rapids and along I-95 from Wilson down toward Smithfield and Benson. Not much out there, and it is going to move out quickly. By the time we get to 8 o'clock, it's mostly over. And then after lunchtime, the clouds begin to break up. We're not going to completely clear, but we should have some big holes in the clouds during the afternoon that should bring us some nice mild temperatures at around 70. So just a 20% chance for us this morning. It's a 90 to really 100% chance there on Saturday. How much rain on Saturday? It'll be a significant amount. Most likely we'll see anywhere from about 1 inch to 1.5 inches across our area. So again, Saturday is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. It is also the day we go back to daylight time. Sunday looks nice, a little cool with a high of 60. That's actually our normal high this time of year. And then we warm up gradually next week with a high of 73 by Wednesday, Brian.
It is 6:20 right now. New information about that crash over in Hillsboro. It looked like those sensor readings that were trending in a good direction indicated that things were clearing up out there, and indeed they have. Lanes now are open on 85 northbound right around I-40. Still a little bit of a backup there. It's likely we still have some activity over on the right shoulder, so just want to keep that in mind. I'll watch those sensor readings, let you know how that's looking with our next update. On the south side of downtown Raleigh, still seeing some delays on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard with a crash getting cleared from Blunt Street. And there's a minor crash up on the north side of Raleigh at Atlantic Avenue near Wolfpack Lane, just north of the 440 interchange. We do have some showers out there that are leaving behind some wet roads. That's a live look at 440 at Wake Forest Road. You can see the wet pavement. A reminder as you head out this morning, you can listen to this live newscast and our traffic alerts on the radio at 99.3 FM in Raleigh and 96.5 FM in Durham.
Brian, thanks. Americans with family members in Haiti are desperately trying to get their loved ones out.
Your family is calling you, crying when you're about to sleep. This is crazy. This is terrible.
The growing crisis in the island nation, where the capital city is being overtaken by gangs.
And new protections for IVF treatment after controversial Alabama Supreme Court ruling. The new law that's been passed there to protect providers from legal consequences.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin and Madam Web star Dakota Johnson are reportedly planning to tie the knot.
Yeah, Brian Schrader's here now with What's Trending.
Yes, British tabloid The Mirror, so you know it's true, reports that Martin and Johnson got engaged a while ago, but they've been keeping it quiet. It also reports that Martin's ex-wife Gwyneth Paltrow has given them her blessing. Isn't that great? In a recent interview, Johnson said that she wants to start a family soon.
Well, you remember when Martin and Paltrow, they released a statement saying they were uncoupling. Well, it was about a year after that he and Dakota Johnson started their relationship. So they've been together, about 6 years. And she says she loves being a stepmom to their two kids, Apple and Moses, the ones he shares with Gwyneth. But she wants to experience motherhood now.
Good for them.
That's good for them, exactly. Lindsay Lohan and Ayesha Curry are revealing more about how Ayesha and her husband, NBA star Steph Curry, became godparents to Lohan's son. In an interview promoting their movie Irish Wish, Lohan and Curry said they formed a special bond over Lohan's desire to become a mother. Curry is pregnant with her fourth child, but she and Steph have not decided about godparents just yet.
It's so funny that these two couples are friends, and they met through a celebrity chef of Lohan's friend who thought, Ayesha and Lohan will be great together, and they met in Dubai and clicked immediately, and there you go. They've been friends ever since.
And the Currys, baby number 4, they're like having a basketball team.
All right,
Brian. New Kids on the Block is back together for their first studio album in 11 years. It's called Still Kids and is set to drop May 17th. The band kicks off its Magic Summer 2024 tour in June with special guests Paula Abdul and DJ Jazzy Jeff. They'll be performing at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 28th.
Well, that system that was with us yesterday continues to hang around. We have gray skies in Sanford and all across the viewing area, and streets are damp. But I'll show you what time the sunshine is likely to return. We'll also check in on Saturday's WRAL Weather Alert Day.
Durham is considering a new partnership to make sure 911 calls are answered quickly, why city leaders are turning to Fayetteville for help.
And President Biden will deliver his State of the Union address tonight at the U.S. Capitol, where you're looking live. We'll tell you about the North Carolina guests who will be attending that speech.